I think how your partner treats you on your birthday is a direct reflection of how they feel about you. If your partner is kind of indifferent about your birthday, kind of does the bare minimum, not really planning much, gives you kind of whatever gifts that are not thoughtful at all, I think that is a very big sign. At the bare minimum, your partner should be making sure that on your birthday, you feel loved, seen, appreciated, celebrated. At the bare minimum. It's not about getting expensive gifts. It's not about the number of gifts they give you. It's really not about the gifts at all. But you should know for a fact that they care about your birthday and they care about you and they want you to have the best day.
Blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's where you're just plain wrong there, sister. You see, men are expected to make women feel special, loved, and seen every single day that they're together. They need to be sending endless text messages at just the right time, at just the right length, and he needs to have a black market florist on retainer. Plus, he needs to know exactly what you want, when you want it, and how you want it without you flat out telling him. And if he doesn't top all of that for your birthday, Valentine's Day, Christmas, New Year's, Flag Day, and National Hug-a-Hobo Day, then he just doesn't care and he isn't doing the bare minimum to make you feel something that isn't unrelenting hate. Meanwhile, giving men the bare minimum amount of attention that he might need is seen as princess treatment, and he should be thankful for the fact that you got him a $20 Sephora gift card for his birthday. So yeah, it's not the same thing.
Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but women voters? Welcome to planet Mars. I'll be over in my spaceship.
So women say they're more risk-averse than men, yet 60% of American women have given birth. From 2020 to 2025, 0.023% of women died during or shortly after giving birth. Compare that to skydiving, pretty risky activity, right? 0.006% fatality rate. Black women have a mortality rate of 0.054% for that same period. That is more than twice the fatality rate of competing in the NASCAR Cup Series, which has a 0.0025% fatality rate per entry. But we don't say, damn, you're a risk taker when we find out a woman is pregnant. And we women don't see ourselves as risk takers either, but we are. It's just a matter of reframing.
That's stupid! You're stupid! Stop being stupid!
Alright, fine, you're a risk taker. Are you happy now? You've been doing what women have been doing since the dawn of humanity. The only real difference is that those women actually had to take risks since, you know, they didn't have modern medicine, easy access to potable water, electricity, internet, vitamins, adequate protections from the elements, and they also ran the risk of animal attacks, bandit raids from rival tribes, poisonous snakes, volcanoes, earthquakes, not to mention that whole disease thing. They also had to give birth without pain medications as well as continue to work in order to survive. And here is the best part. They were able to do all of that without endlessly bitching about it or demanding a medal because they have a slightly higher chance of dying in childbirth than a freaking skydiver. So you know what, woman? I take it back. The only risk you're running is pissing off humanity by getting high off the smell of your own queefs.
Ew.
They knew it was gonna hurt you, and they did it anyway. What other closure could you need? They chose to put your heart on the line, your feelings, when all you ever did was consider them. I'm not saying this to make you hate them, but I'm saying this because you need to believe someone is who they show you they are. You give people too many chances sometimes, and you see the best in them, and you want to believe that they just made a mistake. A lot of mistakes are still choices, and choices become patterns. And I have a feeling that if someone knew you loved them so much, and they still had the ability to go out and hurt you, they would do it again. So maybe when you're sitting on your bathroom floor crying, or you're going for a drive wondering, where is the closure? I just need answers. I just need something. Maybe you already have it. Maybe you got it the moment you found out they made that decision, because that was the moment you found out exactly who they are.
I'm going to pretend to understand what that means.
Ah, closure. The modern woman's physical response to denial. You don't want closure, woman. You want a second chance. You keep chasing after Chad and praying that each time you get with him that it'll finally be different. And when he proves how much you mean to him, all you want is to see him again in the vain hope that he'll change his mind. But I'm here to tell you, sister, it don't work that way. If he cheated on you, it's because the only one who is taking things seriously is the same one who's posting cringe on TikTok right now. He denied you closure So you're trying to pretend that you're the better one, even though you're the one who keeps falling for the same trap over and over again. We're not talking about cleverly hidden booby traps either. They practically have a neon sign over it that says this is a trap, blinking over and over and over again, but you keep falling for it because you don't want to believe the trap is there. And Chad's just sitting there, laughing his freaking head off that you keep falling for it. But hey, it's free low-effort poontang for the guy, so it's really not surprising that he keeps setting it up that way. If it ain't broke, why fix it?
That's funny because it's so true.
I'm so mad I canceled my Hulu literally 10 days ago. According to all the chatter on here, it looks like we are going to be boycotting them. And I would love nothing more in their little reason for cancellation section to be like, oh, censorship. Instead, I was like, oh, it's the low quality content combined with the ever increasing rates. And then somehow when I pay for ad free, you still give me ads with a little notice. It's like, we have no control over this. You do. It's literally you with the control over that. Anyway, if you are still a subscriber to the Disney, Hulu, ABC conglomerate, you get the pleasure of canceling now and saying, yeah. Wait, is there anybody out there that doesn't know why yet? It's the Jimmy Kimmel thing. He said something that the president didn't like and then suddenly his show was canceled. It's that, yeah. And all the other censorship. You know, the administration suing the New York Times for reporting truthfully but negatively about him, pressuring them to take Colbert off the air as well. Remember how great we did with the Starbucks boycott and the Target boycott? Super effective boycotts that led shareholders in a rage. We can't do that. We got to make this viral. Given the state of everything, boycotts right now are probably the most effective tool that we have, considering how easy it is to organize them on here. So let's do it. Tell everyone you know.
Carmelo read on TV about white people getting deducted by aliens, sticking all kind of hell up their butt.
Oh, please, woman, just say that you're broke already. Don't act like you're some kind of a paragon of virtue over this whole Jimmy Kimmel firing. That jagoff has not been funny for a minimum of 2 decades, and the science has proven it time and time again. And you've never once watched his show anyway. You're just using his completely justifiable firing, what with him lying to the American public and making fun of a dude who was literally assassinated in front of his own daughter, to try and rationalize that now is the time for you to be boycotting because the ad breaks hurt your fifis. Now, back in the day when these ad breaks happened, people would go and take a dump, maybe fix themselves a sandwich, or threaten their respective spouse with a cooking implement of their choice. Now, we all know that you talk out your ass, so there's no point in taking a dump. Your sandwich craft skills are clearly subpar, and you don't have a single friend in the world with which to threaten by cast iron skillet, so I don't see what the issue is here. You should just go do what you do best, sister. Just sit around, do nothing, and let the grown-ups do the entertaining, because you couldn't even do that if you freaking tried.
Shut up, you don't exist.
The woman a man runs to directly after you tells you a lot about the man. And if you're confused, I got you, as always. And I even myself will admit, it's a bit confusing because sometimes they switch it up and do a 180. It happened to me, so I'll tell you from my most recent experience. They may go to someone who looks completely different than you. So different color hair, different color eyes, their demeanor is completely different. I don't know this new girl, and I don't care, but I'm assuming this. Tattoos, their lifestyle, you know what I mean, like partying and stuff. It just doesn't quite add up. And here's the reason why. That is who they actually like. Meaning, that is the caliber of women that they are used to. They shot up with you, and it's obvious. The new girl is more their speed. And yes, this is always the case.
You know, I got me a question for you there, darling. How is it that you know so much about the new girl? How is it that you know about her hair color, her tattoos, and her social life? Well, I'll just save us 2.5 hours and answer it for you. It's because you're bored. You're jealous and you have way too much time on your hands. And instead of trying to move on with your life, you're just going to stew in the bitterness by stalking your ex and his new girl on social media. Now, I understand the concept of you getting a life is on par with your fear of having to retake first grade math for the 11th time, but come on, woman. This guy is your ex, which means he's no longer in your life, and it seems with good reason. This guy was looking for a woman who wasn't you. So in other words, a woman who actually has life in her eyes and kindness in her heart. Or at the very least is a minimum of 12% less insufferable than you, but either way, it doesn't really matter. You don't have a life and you feel the best use of your time is to stalk your ex and his new conquest online. If you ask me, that's a bigger problem.
You may be saying, oh, she's pretty. Number one, no one is ever more beautiful than you. You should be that delusional. I know I am. Do I have my off days? Hell yeah, just like anyone else. I could look like a fucking troll if I wanted to. But at the end of the day, no one is more beautiful, no one is more educated, no one is smarter. Okay? That should be your attitude towards life. But when they downgrade big time with you, you should know. Don't feel bad. That is who they can pull. They were lucky to have you, and move on in silence knowing that. Feel sad for them because that's all you got. The only thing you should be thinking is, darn, my standards were low when it came to you. And it shows. Enjoy the Walmart brand. Bye.
This is scary.
Well, it sounds to me like this guy upgraded significantly. Not only was he able to bounce back from the endless hell that you were putting him through, but he's also with a woman who actually appreciates him more than her unwarranted sense of self-worth. It's not that your standards are low, it's that his are high, and sister, you don't even meet the bare minimum when it comes to those. Now, you can cope any way you like, it's your life to waste, but overinflating your ego just because your ex was able to score a younger, hotter, and more agreeable chick is not a smart move for you here. Mainly because if anybody is the Walmart brand, it's you, sister. You're cheap, pretty much a dime a dozen, and you welcome random dudes to sleep in your parking lot whenever you're feeling lonely, which, judging by your bitter demeanor, the sheer number of hobos you've entertained is so high that you'll never be able to wash the stench off your sheets ever again. At least not with the Walmart detergent that you use, but let's just face it, sister, that's all you can really afford in this particular dating market.
Good, but I would say it's horrible yet terrible. Ugly yet disgusting. You suck.
I have a theory that when you meet your soulmate, you will realize that everything was actually always leading you to one another. And that the signs were actually always there, but you don't know the signs until you look back later. There's no way to know until later. I'm gonna call it the arrowhead theory because of that Taylor Swift song Cornelia Street, which she wrote about a different guy, where she writes, as if the streetlights pointed in an arrowhead leading us home. And little did she know, obviously, that Travis always plays at Arrowhead Stadium, and that is where he saw her for the first time. I wrote a song literally about exactly this called
Greetings. This is Dougie, Lock the Bounty Hunter's emergency copyright protection AI voice program. I have been conscripted yet again to run cover for this woman's god-awful music. It's enough to make you want to take a massive dump in another person's pants. That's happened to me once.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Alright, so your theory involves something that you can't even prove, something that you've never experienced, and is based on a political union between Taylor Swift and some dude who plays football. And you prove this theory exists by using it as a platform to sell your crappy music. Well, allow me to give my own theory called the stupid head theory. Simply put, whenever a modern woman clings on to the delusional hope that she's going to have a movie-style romance, the subsequent hope brought forth from insane thoughts equals harboring equivalencies of absurd denial. Now, we don't need numbers or anything to prove this theory at all. All we have to do is watch these videos and assume that every celebrity wedding is somehow a measure of true love, while you deny the reality that your non-existent wedding will pretty much be a measure of how horrible purgatory it's really going to be for the rest of us. Now, I'm no expert when it comes to these advanced theories, but I will admit, I think I'm onto something here.
Farewell, dear shithead. Farewell.
So I've been posting on this app for 3 years. Never in my life have I had to turn the comments off on a video till I posted this one. If you haven't seen this video, this is my engagement ring tour video. Posted it because I got hundreds of DMs asking for me to make it. So I thought, oh my God, you know, people are gonna love it. I was wrong, that people did not love it. When I tell you 90% of that comment section was the nastiest, most bitter, vile group of grown women I've ever seen in my life. Like, I could not believe the comments I was getting. Comments saying how hideous my ring is, how tacky it is, it's gaudy, it's a basic influencer ring. And then there were break-off comment threads of people arguing whether my ring is lab or mine. People chiming in saying, oh my God, look at her. Of course it's lab. She's so tacky, so her ring is tacky.
Well, what did the police say?
You know, I hate to break it to you, sister, but I find it kind of weird how you're somehow shocked that the vast majority of the female TikTok user base joined forces to become the megazord of bitterness when it comes to your dumbass engagement ring. Now, I personally couldn't care less if you're getting married or not. It's not really a flex. You're only allowed to brag about being married after navigating that particular shitstorm for a minimum of 50 years without you going online to shame your husband over toilet paper or his preferred brand of snack cakes. Come on, woman. Even with that being said, it's the friggin' internet. Half of us are schmucks who want to make fun of you for being an idiot, and the other half are bitter, bored, full of hate, and have nothing better to do with their time than make fun of a chick who's showing off her engagement ring to a planet of people who are too busy with their own problems to care. Now, for this whole mess, there is a simple rule. If you don't want toxic people leaving hateful comments on your videos, it's just best not to post them at all, because those women now have a purpose in life, and that is to destroy you for their own amusement.
And these were not trolls. These were like grown women with profile photos, normal people, bashing my ring, bashing me, bashing my fiance, people questioning and arguing about how much my fiance spent on my ring. And this just goes to show for me online and in real life, some people hate. They hate to see another woman happy or see another woman have something that they want. So instead of just, you know, maybe it's not your taste and scrolling, they have to be rude. They have to nitpick. They have to tear you down. So moral of the story, I love my ring. It is a lab diamond. I believe in ethically sourced diamonds. And that's all. And I will never, ever be posting another ring tour again.
And...
Yeah, save it, woman. The fact that your ring doesn't contain blood diamonds does not make you a virtuous person. Everything you own was either produced in a sweatshop, constructed by child labor, or as parts that were made from raw materials that were mined by slaves. Just because your engagement ring was grown in a lab does not mean a damn thing. Now, if you want to have morals, then more power to you. Be my guest, but don't try to virtue signal about this kind of crap when you do it so half-heartedly that it doesn't matter what you say, because you're gonna end up looking like a hypocrite unless every single thing you own is ethically sourced. Now, in regards to the women you're bitching about, what in the hell were you expecting, woman? It's the freaking internet, and it's weaponized the sisterhood into a form of digital cannibalism. These women will destroy you while posting videos about how men are destroying you because they had the unmitigated gall to be born with a set of testicles. And them arguing over your wedding ring has triggered you so harshly that you're punishing the internet by never showing off your ring again. So yeah, nice try, lady. In order for that to be a threat, people have to give a crap, and rest assured, darling,
nobody cares what you think.
Loving you was like renting a house I was never allowed to fully move into. I brought pieces of myself, just the small ones at first. A framed photo here, a toothbrush left by the sink. I tiptoed like a ghast, hoping one day you'd hand me a key that actually meant something. You let me stay just long enough to believe I belonged, but never long enough to feel safe hanging anything on the walls. I kept unpacking parts of my heart into a space that never felt settled, wondering if maybe, if I made it cozy enough, you'd finally ask me to stay. But the truth is, you never made room for me. You liked the way I filled the space, but you never planned to offer it. I kept waiting for you to choose me the way I chose you. Fully, freely, without hesitation.
Perchance some poetry before a fortnight.
A poem for the woman who chose poorly but got rejected, so her rectum was left sorely. You fell in love with the wrong man, just as you've done so many times before, and it's left you with a poem that's rubbish, to be sure. Your hopes, your dreams, and your fantasy on Chad you hinged, but after he was done with you, he left you with your poetry of cringe. He saw what you were and saw nothing but damaged goods, so he did what any good Chad should. He strung you along and told you the things you wanted to hear, all while knowing it was easy entry into your slippery swamp chasm of tumultuous fear. And so now you cry as he declared his conquest ended, as he found your guts thoroughly blended. But worry not, for he will be fine as you weep into your 5th glass of boxed wine. You thought it was love, but it was surely not. Your existence he will give nary a second thought. The man you desire is a man of distinction and class, and his life is not one he will give up for such an annoying piece of ass.
But you stayed undecided. And I stayed too, thinking love was something I could earn if I just proved I was worth keeping. I wish I had seen it sooner, because I deserved more than borrowed time and halfway love, more than a place I had to tiptoe through like one wrong word would get me evicted. So I left, not because I wanted to, but because I finally realized you were never planning to open the door. You don't have to slam a door to shut someone out. Sometimes all it takes is a silence where they should have been certainty. And now I'm building something of my own. Not perfect, but mine. Where I could hang things on the walls without wondering if it's temporary. Where I don't have to ask if I'm allowed to be there. Because next time I won't settle for living like a guest in someone else's version of almost.
I hated that so much.
Madam, if you are a guest, you are surely the worst one around, for you are bragging of an imaginary house that is not structurally sound. Let us take a tour of this train wreck that you call your new home, and we will see how you will forever be alone. The pictures you hang fall off the walls as you weep, for the sheetrock you used was painfully cheap. The basement floods and the floorboards creak. The kitchen is nothing but a fire hazard that you keep. Your bedroom is misshapen and your clothes are a mess. Why you would brag about such a thing is anybody's guess. And late at night as you sleep in your lumpy bed, only the memories of Chad forgetting you plague your empty head. And lest we forget the most important room anyone can own, the reeking, mildew-stained bathroom with its overpriced porcelain throne. And even in here there is no comfort, not even for a bit, because much like your poetry, your imaginary water closet is covered in shit. And to the bounty board I shall give my recognition, for they are truly fine people to support me on my mission. Be it crass jokes, fishing for clams, or the occasional poetry slam, it is to be sure that their support is clearly no sham. So here's to you, bounty board, and all that you entail. You eternally have my thanks, and to you I say all hail! And if supporting the channel is in your interest, then check out the bounty board on Patreon, and for that I do not jest. For $5 a month you will find exclusive content that will blow your mind. And if that is your type of show, then the link is in the pinned comment down below. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.